Hey, this is Jenny Jones, Digital Growth Hacks Club. Hey, give me a mic check. I need a mic check. I got like 50 things going on right now at this particular moment. I need to be more organized. I need a better calendar. Hopefully, this calendar solves my problem. I think I overbooked. Um, yeah, you guys let me know. Give me a sound check. Someone, please give me a sound check. Uh, Let me know if you can hear me. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get right into it because I think, like I said, I overbooked. I got like 100 things. Uh, no, you should be good, Peanut. You should be good. I got your message. I just wanted to make sure you should be good. All right, so let me get a sound check. Am I good? Who's all here? Where you guys from? We're gonna get started right away. Let me see who's here. Who's here? Who showed up for this live? This is gonna be fire too. Um, yeah, let me know if you're here. Let me see. I'm trying to see who's here. Who's here? Who is here? Oh, you can hear me? Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. All right. Cool. 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 Uh Nakatila. I need to call you something for sure. You always showing up. You be showing up for me. I appreciate that. C store in the house. Carlos is here. Carlos, we need to chat, man. We need to chat. We need to chat for real. We do. We need to chat. All right. So without further ado, listen, I don't even need to set the stage for this person. They've been a talk, definitely in my community for the last week, and they were my Wednesday winner today. I'm going to welcome to the stage the founder of LunaCal. Let's see if we can get him on. Let's see if we have any. You guys ask your questions. Want to know about the vision. Let me see who's here. All right. So far, Perry's here. All right, we gotta see because certain people, man, they're pretty tough, man. So I want to see if we can bring him in. How you doing, Pran? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hey,
Oh yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
oh, awesome. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, you turn it down. You got an echo, man. Where you is. I know it's super late there or whatever. So listen, I want to get right into it. Let tell us about your project, Luna Cow, and tell us what get kind of give us a 60 second pitch of Luna Cow and tell us what's going on with it.
Sure. So, by the way, I think I need to get a new mic if you can hear my voice echoing.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I just wanted, yeah, you're good.
Okay. Good. Uh, anyway, so yeah, LunaCal is a calendar scheduling platform. Think of it as an alternative to Calendly, but which also allows you to put like really beautiful content on your scheduling page itself. Right. The core idea is that scheduling page is a place where your most qualified audience visits. So why not educate them with more content? Maybe try to sell additional stuff to them while they are booking time with you, so that you can sort of get more revenue. And they're also excited about meeting you because they now know so much more about you. So yeah, this is what the product does. We started building it about a year back. Took us about 10 months and 6 engineers to build it. And right now we are happy to be on AppSumo to sort of take it live to the world.
So no, thank you so much. Again, like I said, for joining us here. So we're gonna get right into it. So when you say that you guys now you have to know my audience, just like myself, we have a lot of calendar tools, right? I remember when there was a scarcity on calendars, and then there was this overload of calendars, right? So now you're coming into the furway in 2025. I like what you guys are doing with it, but we want to know how we can make money from the tool, right? Any founder that I get on here, I always say, listen, how can my users benefit? How could they make money from it? Or what are you seeing some of the use cases of people using it? How are people making money from this?
Yeah. So you're actually right, Jenny. There are a large number of scheduling tools already. I've personally used about 40 tools, and because we were sort of trying to analyze the market, trying to find out gaps that the existing tools have,
Hmm.
right? I think the core idea is that whenever someone is coming to book time with you, right, there is no way you can sort of miss out an opportunity to cross sell them additional stuff, right? So, for example, you were talking about how you have different businesses, Jenny, right? Now,
Yeah.
when people come to book time with you on a regular scheduling page, they come there, they want to engage with you, but it's just a calendar. They book time and then they drop off. What if you could maybe talk about a couple of your podcasts on that scheduling page, right? Or add links to some of the other stuff that you're selling. So those sort of will help you cross sell at the time when people are actually looking to engage with you. Right? That's, I think, a very important part of capturing people when they are looking to engage with you.
Hmm.
So just by adding this rich content on scheduling page, the additional revenue from every person who comes to you sort of increases, right? Uh, and obviously, we allow you to do paid bookings. So let's say if you are selling, I don't know, you're selling a course or a one-on-one session
Hmm.
or a group class, right? So for all of these things, you can charge people. So if you have 5 people, you can set up an event where um, people can book slots and then they become part of the meeting.
So one of my questions was, I've seen some calendars allow, like, say I wanted to have a session. Let's say I wanted to have a fireside chat, right?
Yeah.
And I want 5 people to show up at each. Say I have a slot for 5 people for each
Mhm.
chat. Says, hey, you know what? Jenny's going to do a fireside chat or office hours 2 days a week. He does them on Mondays and he does them on Fridays. So you
Mhm.
have to get in on one of his 5 slots. Is that
Yeah.
something I've seen that? I mean, can you guys do that? Or that just came to me right now because I've been challenged with that in the past because it doesn't let you. Most traditional calendars don't let multiple people book on one slot. So if I say, hey, I want to do fireside chat at 1:30, I have 5 slots. So can people come? Is that something that you guys do, or is that something that you guys considered that? That's a very unique feature.
Yeah, we actually already do that. So
Whoa.
you can set the number of slots that you want. So let's say from 10 to 10:30, I can allow 10 people to book time. The moment 10 people book time, the slots get over, right? And
Oh.
if someone cancels, then a new slot comes up. Uh, and in fact, you can also allow people to see how many seats are left. That's an optional setting,
Oh.
but it sort of creates that fear of missing out that only 2 out of 10 slots are available. So now I've
Whoa, wait a minute. Time out. Stop. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, right? I just got super excited because I didn't know you guys did that. I keep finding out that these things that you guys do, I'm like, what is going on? So I so I just want to make sure that the audience understands me. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up for showing up. I got these founders here. Got to make sure YouTube knows, right? So I can get I can let this play like 700 hours and I can get 20 cents from it, but at least I'll have, some thumbs up, right? That's another story. But so my point is, and I want to know of my audience, do you guys know that, or does that make a difference? That should, to me now, at least, can I get that at least at one tier at 59? I think it's $59. Is
Yeah,
that available at $59?
yes, it's available $59.
That's crazy, right? And we'll go through the tiers and all that a little bit here later. So I want you guys to see if you understand. I think James said he understands. I'm going to use that for office hours as soon as Spreadsheet and Ram complete my support ticket. I don't know. Maybe somebody James has his own podcast. Man, he be coming out of the woodworks. Now he'll get mad at me if I show up at his podcast and start putting 5 or 6 messages in the chat. So no, that is a very, very important point. I just want to understand if you guys understand how powerful that is because I don't think any other calendar tool is doing that. I think I don't want to talk about competitors. I think one does that, but I think that's on a super duper high plan. All right, so I like that. All right, so and you guys currently now have PayPal. What other payment processes you guys are thinking about bringing on?
So
Or
right now we only have PayPal. There are two more that we are considering. Stripe obviously is the top
mhm,
one,
right,
and then there is another one called Razorpay, which is
Razor.
very popular in India, not so much in the US. Uh,
Okay,
and in fact, I also got a lot of requests for Square payments. So that's
Square
another one
payment.
that we can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so Square. Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? So one of the things that I saw that you're missing, and I want the audience to at least know. I know we've had a discussion about it, but webhooks, right? Would that be available even at the highest tier or maybe the smallest tier? Or what are your thoughts? What are you guys thinking about that? I don't want you, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to get on here and commit to anything that's not available on AppSumo. I just want to kind of know if it's on your roadmap. If it is, where is it at? And then what are you thinking there what it'll be? Nothing solid. It's just kind of what you guys are thinking.
Yeah. So we actually already had sort of partially built webhooks, and I remember Jenny, I think spoke about a week back, and you said that you have to have webhooks for AppSumo audience, right?
I
So we
I
sort
I
of
I just think that's when you come to AppSumo, you need webhooks. We have 50 million tools. And so,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Yeah.
I think most likely within the next 4 to 5 days, we should be live with webhooks. We're already testing it right now, and it'll be most likely available from the first year itself. Still have to sort of finalize those details, but I
Mm,
think webhooks has a lot of value for AppSumo customers. So
at
would
least
definitely want everyone to have
webhooks at
those.
the first tier?
Still have to finalize on it
Still have to
now.
finalize on it? Okay. I'm just
Yeah,
listen, hey, I mean,
at
that's
least
very I like it. It's very generous. I think a tool with webhooks and so that leads us to it. You wanted to finish your thought because I wanted to give you another question here.
yeah. No, so I was saying that I still need to discuss with the AppSumo team on how
Okay.
exactly to price webhooks because it was
Okay.
not part of the original deal. And we
Oh, got
actually
it.
had, yeah. So, but anyway, I think within the next few days, we should be live with webhooks.
That's good news, right? So one of my other questions was you guys, and maybe are you prepared to share any or you want me to share? Or I'd rather you share because I'm still navigating my way around, but are you prepared? What I wanted you to talk about was your workflows, right? I
Mhm.
haven't seen that too much in any other tools. I know some of the tools that I compare you with, they don't even have the workflow. So tell us your ideal on workflows, or if you can share, if you can't, I just wanted you to do a quick workflow demonstration for the people. Hey, Shivet,
I can actually, do you think I can share my screen here? It'll
you
probably be
can.
a
So yeah, the
quick.
share is at the bottom. It says share. Just share the screen
Okay.
and then I'll add it. So let's talk. I'm gonna set this up for you. So what they have is workflows. They always have these sequence. It's kind of like these sequences of events that happens or conditional statements, like if someone cancels. So two things I want you to show, and I kind of showed people a little bit in my when you guys were my Wednesday winner. I kind of showed them a little bit
Yeah.
of how you embed, but you don't have to embed the naked link. You could actually embed slots and stuff like that. And I wanted you to at least show those two things, and then we'll talk about with some of the other widgets I think that are possible. So we can share whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Actually, those two things are probably among my favorite things as well.
Oh, so those are
Workflows
your
and the,
favorite.
yeah, yeah. I love those features.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
so are you ready to share or
Yeah, sure. I can share. And I'll probably start with a quick overview of what it does. So usually a lot of these scheduling tools that you see, they have the usual email reminder thing in place, right? That
sure.
maybe 15 minutes before the event, you get a reminder mail. We sort of wanted to extend that logic to all the different use cases that you can think of. What if a person cancels the meeting, right? What if they reschedule a meeting? So the idea is that through the entire journey of the customer, you can create these workflows to keep on engaging with them till the point they sort of become your customer, right? And to sort of walk you through it, let me share my screen. Uh,
All right. So let me add it. You're good. I got it. I see it here. I'm gonna add it into the screen.
all right, awesome.
All right.
So, for example, what you can do is, let's say, if someone cancels my meeting, right? I just don't want to leave them. I want to keep engaging with them so that maybe they convert at a later point. So what I can do is I can create a workflow that whenever an event is cancelled, uh, I send them a re-engagement email, right? I ask them if you would like to book a new time, you can reschedule here. I can also put in, let's say, a case study or something else that makes me want to reschedule, right? So this is one type of workflow that you can create. Similarly, let's say an event is completed, right? So post the event is done, you can send a thank you email, maybe attach a couple of videos there, just so that even after the meeting is done, people can keep on engaging with your content.
So what do you mean? I
And
think you mentioned that to me once before, but what do you mean when you can attach a couple of videos there? What does that mean? Or how do you
it's just
envision?
Oh,
Yeah,
so it's an email. So think of like, thank you for attending this event.
sure.
By the way, here are a couple of videos that can help you know a little bit more about us, right?
So
So
can you embed a video or you just send video links? I guess is what I'm trying
it's
to
just
figure
it's just a video link. It's not really an embed
out. Oh,
within the.
man, you almost had me about to jump through the screen.
No, that's actually a good idea. Now that I think of it. Uh,
Okay, okay. Yeah, so all right, so go ahead. I don't want to throw you off. Okay, so this is the now these are again when founders come on, I kind of like them to talk about their superpowers. This is definitely a superpower. Um, I don't know any other tool that allows you usually have to follow up your sequences, your sequences, your sequences usually have to be done with your CRM software, right?
yeah.
Hey, but there isn't one where I've seen that, hey, you canceled or let's do this. And so what were you guys' thoughts behind this as we move on to some of the other features?
Yeah. So actually, the reason I built this feature is because earlier I had created this integration where from Calendly via Zapier, all these, depending on the triggers, we would trigger different emails to using my email tool, right? So, and it's a complicated thing to orchestrate because you have to do a lot of integrations, etc. So I thought, why not build it in the product itself? Because it's a very common use case that people are going to cancel meetings, right? And most of the people who cancel, you want to bring them back, or whenever a meeting is done, you want to send some engaging content to people. So if it's, I just thought it would be pretty easy for us to, for a user to sort of build such workflows within LunaCal itself, all of which are tied to the particular event that the person has booked, right? So again, these are all highly qualified audience that you have, people who are looking to engage with you. So for them, it's sort of these workflows that can be created.
So my question is, so what other really quick before we move off of this, what else was your thinking to help out the entrepreneur, the small business owner in this workflow? So we have if person cancels, what other thing that I don't maybe I haven't even known about, I haven't dug deep enough to know, but what else is in here that you say, this is something we think everyone needs. This is how you make money and bring money back to your ecosystem by doing X. So what other workflows that you want to share that you think is very good?
I think for most people, I would recommend implementing all of these workflows, right? Because
Okay.
the idea is that people who are booking time with you, it's really, really important that you keep engaging with them, right? So, for
Right.
example, if let's say I'm selling two services, one of the workflows can be that whenever an event is booked in for a particular service, I also send them an email saying, "Hey, by the way, thanks for booking time. This is another thing that I provide," right? Or if I want to upsell something, I can mention that in the email, saying that in the workflow, saying that this is another thing that you can purchase, right? Or let's say if someone
Mm,
is canceling a meeting, I can send them a mail saying, first of all, would you want to rebook again? Or maybe this doesn't make sense for you. Here's another thing that I also sell. So all those opportunities of cross-selling people, or I mean, just selling additional stuff to your customers and maybe just adding value to their lives, that's
right.
something that can be built using these workflows.
Nice. I like that. I like the fact that once people engage with you, right, you don't really kind of want them off the link. If they're busy like I am, right, I got like 50 tabs open, right, and I'll forget stuff. So, oh, I got this meeting. I'm not going to make it. Let me read. Let me cancel, right? So I'm digging through my email trying to cancel that. So a lot of times I'll cancel even from other using other tools, and then there is no way for me to cancel, or it may there is a reschedule in there also as well, and then it takes me out. And okay, all right, so what are you gonna show me next? I think you said you were
The
gonna.
next thing is email embed for sure.
Oh yes, listen, you guys got to be paying attention to this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So he's going to show you the email embed. I think I kind of show people that a little bit, but I don't think some people saw it yet. But this is a very different email embed. So this is an email embed that they do here. So let's look at that.
Yeah. So how it works is, let's say if I'm on an event, I don't want to send my code link, right? Maybe I just want to provide a few time slots. Then what I can do is I can just select these time slots here, uh,
Oh,
copy
I didn't know
them.
you can do multi days. So you can do the Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I can just paste it here,
So
and I can
this
just write here on the time slots, and people can click on them, and they'll directly go to the confirmation page where they can book time.
That's not so. This is how it would show up on my end, and then I would just
Yeah,
select. That's nice. What do you guys think about that? You guys give us a hand clap or thumbs up, or do you guys? So this is doing some different stuff. All right. So I like that. I really, really do like that. Do you guys got any questions about this feature? Are you going to do anything else with this feature, or this is just it? Maybe we should do something else in here, man. Maybe we should add something else. Any of the other blocks that you think you can add down there? Any of the other widgets we can add in here? I know it's probably clustering it, but still another way to sell.
yeah.
Maybe maybe a
See,
testimonial, maybe add the testimonial widget in here. Or this is the reason. This is the reason why you're rescheduling with Jenny, and then have maybe your testimonial widget come up or something. I don't know. I'm just adding that. So
yeah,
uh,
maybe adding might make it a little more cluttered,
it might make
but
it clear. Yeah, I'm just man, I'm pushing the envelope. So anyway, so what else? All right, so what else do I have a couple questions coming in? So what else do you I think you're gonna show us something on the are you gonna show us something on the widget side, or what did I ask you? I had a question here.
yeah, I think the actual design of the page is something that you wanted to explore.
Sure, sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Uh, all right. So, yeah, this is probably the star of the show, the actual scheduling page itself.
Mhm.
So, here, what we've done is this is where your calendar comes in, and these are all the widgets that you see here, right? And what you can do is you can go to the add widget section, add more testimonial widgets. Maybe in your case, Jenny, right? You have a lot of videos. So maybe add a few links to those videos so that people who are coming to book time, they can maybe watch a couple of those videos before they book time with you,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
You can play around with these themes. Some of these themes are really beautiful, and you can change all these colors, etc. This is probably among my favorite ones right now. Earlier, I used to like the white theme the most, but I think
Yeah.
right now this is the one that.
What was that moving? Go back up. The testimonials. So what is this? So does that move by itself?
Yeah, it moves by itself when you sort of scroll down.
Oh. So I don't know what I was able to see. So you got this little, I think it's a typewriter. Some of you guys
Yeah.
don't know what a typewriter is. Perry, you don't know what a typewriter is. But right there, where there's a typewriter off to the right, can I put that on mine or is that just with this theme?
Uh, no, so you would want to change the image. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So you can change the image right there, what you have right there.
Not right now, but I think that's another request that someone had a couple of days back when I was on the support chat, manning the support.
Yeah.
And this is definitely something that we probably should allow people to
Wait, so
do.
you don't have you showing the stuff that's nice, man. So we can't do that right now. You only have that on your calendar.
No, this is all available right now for everyone.
No, I'm talking about right there where this photo is, where the typewriter is.
Yeah, so this is also available to everyone. It's just that you cannot change this photo right now.
Okay. I can't change the photo. And then where the video is, where that camera is, I can't change that either. I didn't even know I could add those. I mean, that mine doesn't show up like that though. I guess that's the reason.
Yeah, actually, in other colors, you don't really see those things. So there are a lot of themes and colors, right? So
Oh,
this
got it.
particular color, this is how it looks like,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And in the other themes, there is no such image present. This, for example, is a theme for more creative people,
Sure.
uh, right? Although I haven't seen a lot of people use this theme so far. Uh, and then you have this smart theme, again, a very minimalist kind of a theme.
Sure.
Play around with colors.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
the theme that most people end up choosing is either the professional one or this bold one.
Yeah. I went with the professional one. All right. So,
Yeah, this
all right. So we had a couple of questions here. Does it allow us to embed? So the question is, does it allow us to embed any widgets? And I guess that was the question you and I were discussing. So I
yeah.
don't know, Perry, I don't know if I understand your full question, or does it allow you to embed or iframe any widget? I guess would be the question. It's only the widgets that they have here. Does it
Yeah.
allow us to embed any widgets? I need more on that, Perry, 'cause I don't know if I fully understand that. Go back to your click on the add widgets there as we're moving, we're making pretty good time. So you what kind of other modules are you thinking about adding here, if at all? Because now become this is your superpower here. This is to add the widgets to fill up the page. Are you thinking about adding any other modules or widgets here?
Yeah. So one is definitely the recommendation that you had, Jenny, wherein let's say if there's a gallery, I have two, three images present there. Those
Yeah,
should ideally be clickable and help me take people to some other place that I want, right?
sure.
So I think ability to add clickable images is definitely something that we want to enable.
Okay.
Uh, I'm just exploring more and more use cases around it. For
Sure.
example, people who sell courses, they definitely would want to, or let's say people who have books that they are selling. So they definitely would want to advertise those things here and make people click on it and then go to some other place, right? In fact, the way Linktree has allows you to put in a lot of different links, right? Uh, so I'm not sure if you're aware of Linktree
Yeah.
product.
No, we're familiar with Linktree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Linktree. Yeah, they allow you to do that. And I think this person was saying, "Hey, can you create hyperlinks in the board to the right?" And I think that's just actually what we're actually talking about right now.
yes.
They're considering it. They have
You
to
can
be
still
protected.
add it in the text section. So, for example, this is hyperlinked, right? So I
Okay.
can still hyperlink the text here.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh,
Gotcha.
but again, it's not the best UX because the probability of someone clicking it versus if there's a prominent image, so that becomes more clickable, right?
Hmm. So this person says, "Could I block off, say, Friday afternoon through Sunday afternoon for booked people at a retreat. I'm trying to understand your question. I know she wants to do, I know she does physical locations and she does online locations. And I guess I'm trying to figure out her question here better. Could I block off, say, Friday afternoon through Sunday afternoon for booked people at a retreat? I guess you could. It goes to your availability, right?
Yes. So if I got that question right,
Mhm.
and we actually have a feature, you probably might not have seen it, Jenny.
Oh,
Uh,
loves
so
love
usually
love
what
surprises. What else we got?
so usually what tools allow you to do is you can set up fixed schedule here, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I want to block off from Friday to Sunday or anything, I can create such detailed schedules, and this is something that most tools allow you to do. Uh, but the problem that comes here is, let's say this Sunday only, maybe I'm not available. I'm available on rest of the Sundays, right? So in this case, what we allow you to do is put in date specific exceptions that maybe on Sunday, I'm not available the entire day, right? So I can add that exception. So such sort of
Oh.
day specific
So so let
availability
me
is,
I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure that I understood this concept. So what you're
yeah,
saying is I'm usually not available on Sundays, but I do have an exception between 1 and 2.
yes.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. So, yeah, her follow-up question was, so people can book through website for in-person retreats. Yeah, so I think we could
Oh, got it. Yeah, you can do that. So essentially, the meeting location option that you see here,
sure.
here instead of having a Google Meet or any of these options, you can have an in-person location available, right? And I can mention the address here.
Mhm.
So whenever, so it'll still be an online booking in the sense that you would continue to share a link and people will book it, but then they won't get a Google Meet link. They'll get this location, so they can physically go and visit that location.
Okay. All right.
I think
So
that's what they wanted. Yeah.
yeah, so let me get so someone here said they have a tier 3. Mark Rodriguez is here, man. Man, today must be a good day. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up. So Mark is like, "Hey, I purchased tier 3 based on Jenny's recommendation." Oh no, it didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying. What is the cost for additional users if a person wanted to? I think you get 20 users at the tier 3. You
Yeah.
wanna say that to the end when we kinda go over, or are there any changes or anything? I know you guys are
So we are coming up with another tier because a lot of people currently the highest tier allows you to get only 20 seats, right?
sure.
We are coming up with another tier which has 30 seats. It will most likely go live by tomorrow. We haven't really thought of any tier beyond that, but if you see a lot of people requesting for it, then happy to explore.
Okay. Alright, so listen, you heard it here first on the Digital Growth Hacks Club. So obviously it's something that must be approved because they're working with AppSumo to do that, but they're gonna go to another tier that's gonna give you 30 users. Really like the email feature. Okay.
And I think AppSumo allows you to upgrade as well. So even if you are on tier 3 right now, in future, if you want, you can go to tier 4 whenever we release it. So that should be good.
Okay. Can you talk about the custom subdomains? Yeah, what I don't know and specifically what you wanted to talk about. I know the tier 3 gave you custom subdomains. Um, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that, or you get a lot of questions on that? Is there anything you want to put out here in the
Yeah.
video, YouTube video fear, or maybe the people need to understand, or something you just wanted to share with everybody about this particular setup here?
Yeah. So regarding custom subdomain, right? So the offer that we have is actually of a subdomain and not really a different domain. But the moment we launched, we realized we probably made a mistake. We should have made it a domain thing, right? Because people don't want just a subdomain on LunaCal; they want the entire thing on their own website. which is why it sort of took us a few days to build the other part, which is allowing people to completely move to their domain. Now that's available with tier 3, and everyone who has purchased will start to see that happen from probably from Friday, or latest by Monday. They should be able to have everything on their own domain setup. Another request that people have is they want us to allow domain from tier 1 onwards. But that's something that we haven't really thought of doing it, at least at this stage. We just want only people of higher tiers uh, to be able to do the domain thing, right? Have their own domain. And apart from these two, three things, I think almost everything is available to the lowest tier as well.
Hmm.
But we wanted to have at least some things exclusive to the higher tiers, right? So that's why the custom domain is something that's only available to the high tiers.
Okay. All right. Which online meeting apps are integrated? Zoom. What else do you have there? You have Zoom. Is
Google
Meet?
Meet,
Huh?
Teams. So uh, one thing that you can do is, if let's say you use a meeting tool which is not integrated with us, you can
Sure.
still have a link meeting available. And if there is a static link, you can put that link here,
Okay.
right? So for example, I have these, you can obviously integrate Google Meet here, but sometimes maybe I just want to have a static link put in there, so I can
Mhm.
copy it and put that meeting link here.
Okay.
So
I
if
guess
you're
that
using,
answers your question, Johnny. So you can put a Meet Fox in there. You can put a Meet in there. Dude, you got Meet Fox? Don't be dating yourself, Johnny. I do have Meet Fox too. Uh I was that's a very, very old tool, but it still works and does very good. So the question is, so yeah, you do have a link there. I think they have a couple of them there, your Zooms, your Google Meets and stuff. What do you have? What is this FaceTime? Is that Apple FaceTime?
yeah, that's Apple FaceTime.
I've never seen that. What? So give me a use case for that. I mean, some people say, "Hey, we're going to meet via FaceTime." That
Yeah, I
Where'd that come
I
from?
myself haven't really used this feature, so I cannot tell you the a
Okay.
first-hand experience of it. Uh, but
Wow.
yeah, it's essentially the FaceTime that you see here. You
Oh,
sort of get this link, and
that's crazy.
yeah,
Wow. So does that mean 20 employees from one business or 20 different businesses? That's a good question. If you could
yeah,
kind of explain that and kind of talk about your concept of what you were thinking of when you wanted to make that available.
yeah. That's a good question. So let me clarify that. So 20 employees means you have 20 seats. Now, those 20 seats can be distributed among any number of teams. Within LunaCal, what you do is you go and create a team. A team can have different members. And if you run an agency, then a team can also mean one particular client, because people of different teams cannot see each other, right? Uh, and once you have team set up, then you can assign any number of employees to sort of those teams. The only limitation is that the total number of people whom you can onboard is 20. So if you have if one client just has one person, then you can technically have 20 clients with the highest tier. Uh, and But yeah, usually people end up having more people per team. And another thing that you can do is, anytime, let's say I'm working with a client, and now that client doesn't work with me anymore, I can take that license, remove that user, and allocate it to someone else.
So let me make sure that I understand you correctly. So
Yeah.
so Johnny Kang has Kang and Associates, right? I'm using Johnny. He's part of my community. So Johnny Kang Associates, and then say it's him and his wife, right? They're so if I bring on Johnny Kang or I put Team Johnny in my team accounts, it's really only Johnny that has access to it. Can I, if I make his wife, if I allow, he says, "Hey, I want my wife to have access to the calendar tool as well," then does
Mhm.
that take up another slot? So now I no longer have, so let's back up. So if I have my account plus 20, that's 21 accounts, correct or no?
Mhm. No, so total 20 users, including yourself.
So okay, so let's now we're clear on that. So I really have 19 slots available, right? I just wanted to make sure I understand. So I have 19 slots available. I bring Johnny on. Johnny says, "Hey, Jenny, man, can you add my wife?" Can he probably would say that too. He's like, "Hey, can you add my wife?" Right? So if I add his wife, that's another slot, right? So now I'm down to 18 slots. I mean, 18,
Yes.
so now,
Assuming
but I can't add her though, right? But I do know that she's taking up one of the seats, and if I have Johnny's team or Johnny Incorporated, and then I have Perry's team and Johnny's team, they won't even see each other at all.
yeah.
Correct? Okay, and you were going
Yes.
to say something. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah. So I was just saying the way to think of users is a user would have their own independent booking link. They'll have their own calendar. They'll have their own workflows, etc. So if you have, let's say, a person A and person A's wife available, right? So both of them would have their own login, their independent calendars, uh, and each of them can also sync multiple calendars, by the way, right?
Okay.
So for example, you use Outlook, Google, and you want both of them to be synced. That's another thing that you can do.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this then. So the way a person would use this, I think you're saying is available as maybe Friday or maybe Monday.
Mhm.
So if I was to use this and maybe even thought about reselling my seats
Mhm.
potentially, right? Um, I would need my domain need to really would be a universal domain. It wouldn't be Jenny Jones, right? Coaching, right? I can use Jenny Jones coaching, but then
Mhm.
everybody's subdomain would be Jenny Jones Coaching / Johnny's team, right? They
Yeah.
they would come off of my parent domain.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Okay. See, I run multiple brands, so I'm always thinking like that already.
Yeah.
So does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Uh hopefully that makes sense out there to you guys. If you guys had any questions on that. So if you were to do so let me ask you this on the when it comes to domains, as we kind of wrap up and kind of take a more couple more questions and talk about the deal a little bit more. Um when we think about if we think about the domains, is that done manually now or is that automatically done or is that something we have to reach out to the team to do?
You have to reach out to us, and once we do it, then we'll give you a code that you have to enter in your domain provider.
Okay. And that
Yeah.
okay. So just so you guys know, you'll have to think about whatever your domain's gonna be. It has to be more of a universal domain if you're gonna think about sharing it with your clients or something like that. So let me ask you this question now, and you can either answer it or you don't have to answer it, or you just don't know.
Mm.
Is let's say I fill up my 20 slots or maybe 30 slots now. If I get the tier 4, I fill up my 30 slots. What if I wanted to get more slots? I like what it's doing or something like that. I really like your calendar and other people like it. So what are you do you have you thought about anything like that or
I haven't really thought about it a lot. In fact, since yesterday, since we've been getting questions around this, we did think of doing something, but nothing has been finalized yet.
okay.
You can
All
still
right.
buy it at a regular price, additional seats, but for AppSumo users, still haven't thought of a way around.
Okay. What if I bought 2 tier 2s? I mean 2 tier 4s.
That might work.
Well,
Yeah,
could you give me a single sign on for that or is that something you guys could do or is
those
that
would
even
be so those would be two separate licenses,
so
right?
there'll
So
be
they
2 separate licenses. Okay. Okay. All right.
In fact, Jenny, I have one point there. I think so. You know how we were just discussing that there would be one standard domain and then different domains, and then all of your clients would have something related to it.
Sure.
Uh, Again, this is something that we are thinking right now. Why not allow people to have different domains at a team level, right? So let's say if you have four clients, I should be able to give you 4 CNAMEs,
Hmm.
so that each of those clients would have their own independent booking.clienta.com,
Yeah.
booking.clientb.com, right? So they are not related to your domain. And this is again something that we're actively thinking.
Okay.
Most likely will bring this to tier 3 and tier 4, the existing tier that's already there.
Okay. Well, that's okay. So, question on that. That would be maybe 30 C names, just to say, potentially.
Now, there
So,
would be some limit there, thinking of 3 to 5, at least for the third tier, because we don't want 30 CNAMEs to happen from a user, right? But maybe 3 to 5 might be manageable.
okay. Yeah. Because I know you guys are still doing it manually now. Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
rethink that one. You got to really think because I don't want to fall in love with LunaCal. And then next year, I get this email from LunaCal saying, hey, we underestimated that Johnny Kang would go. Happy birthday, by the way, Johnny. Shout out to Johnny. You guys send him a cake emoji or something like that. He's in my community, so we'll probably cheese him up and give him a hard time. But Johnny would probably buy like 5 Luna cows, get all these C names, right? I'm messing with him, but he knows we think of how we grow and how we scale, or even Anthony, uh, Alpha Blueprint. We get a couple of Luna cows. We don't want to get this letter from Luna Cow saying, we underestimated the actual cost of providing all these C names. We just don't want drama. That's all.
Yeah, that's a very, very fair point. And I think, again, that's why it's taking a little bit more time for us to reach to a decision, because
Sure.
we really don't want to be in that space where existing users start hating us, right? Because we committed something and then we did not fulfill it after a year.
Yeah, and we don't want you in that space either. So can you, as we kind of wrap up here, what's the future of Luna Cow? Is it to concentrate, double down on your sweet your superpower of providing the widgets and becoming more customized? Or I mean, because calendars, I mean, everybody's got them now, right? Everybody's got them, or they use kind of Google. Some people are just satisfied with just using Google. And I think
Yeah.
what your tool allows people to do is like, hey, you can use LunaCal to extend your services, to allow people to probably find another way entry into your ecosystem. Uh, so, what's the future of LunaCal?
Yeah. So one thing that we've been very clear from the start is that we do not really want to diversify into unrelated products.
Sure.
So scheduling is the core for us, and that will continue to be the core, right? So I would rather build 10 additional features around scheduling than, let's say, build an email marketing tool and sort of integrate it with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's very clear. One thing that I see a huge gap, right, is again, now putting content on scheduling page is one form of engagement, right?
Sure. Hmm.
Doing workflows is another form of engagement. Can
Hmm.
you build a lot of such ways, such engagement um tools, which allow people to engage with their most qualified audience, right? That's how I want to call it.
Hmm.
So that's how I see scheduling evolving, because scheduling, the people who are scheduling time with you are really, really important. And all the existing tools are just, I think, wasting that opportunity to engage and cross sell to the audience, right? So we aim to build a lot of products around scheduling itself.
So I'm gonna ask you one last question, and we'll take a few more as we kind of get out of here. What's the deal on email or SMTP? Is that in the future? Simple mail transfer protocol to those who are not in any of my academies or any of my communities. Simple mail transfer protocol, meaning that excuse me, that I use my email, and all that. Because everything's still right now, even though I may have 20 slots, I'm still
Yeah,
using Luna to
yeah,
send emails and stuff like that. You want to talk
yeah.
about that? Is there what's your vision on that?
So I still haven't made up my mind around it. Again, that's another thing that a lot of people have asked. I'll probably take a week to sort of reach to a decision on whether we want to allow it. And in case we do, it'll probably take at least a couple of weeks for us to develop it.
Okay, when you there's a couple things you said here that piqued my interest. You says, "Hey, added webhooks." We started talking about webhooks last week, and you're like, "Hey, we'll have webhooks this week." I was like, "Wait, what?" And then you say, "Hey, if we do decide to do that, we'll have that in a week." Sounds like you got. Are you an engineer? Do you have a small engineering team, or do you have to go outsource, or what's going on there? Because you guys are able to produce some pretty nifty updates here pretty
Yeah.
fast. So tell me
So
about that.
we ship extremely fast. I think the engineers that I have at LunaCal right now, these are probably the best engineers I have personally worked with in my life.
Hey,
Right.
everybody says they've worked with the best,
Yeah.
right? So are
So
you saying that you have a small team and says, "Hey, they're thinking about they want to add webhooks and let's look at it, let's investigate it, let's add the webhooks," and you're like, boom, webhooks. You're like, whoa, voila. You're like, wait a minute. So with your team size, you guys are able to ship updates pretty. I'm impressed.
so we actually have 6 full-time engineers in the team.
Right,
Uh, the entire team is just engineering plus me.
right.
So, and right now, at least because decision making is very fast, right? We think of something, we debate, and then we release it. It doesn't really take us weeks to long debates, which is why I think we're able to ship very fast. As we grow, maybe there'll be a time when we'll have to have more product managers come in who will sort of slightly slow down the process. But at this stage, at least, we don't have any other burden, so to say.
Okay. All right, so I think we're good. I'm trying to go back through any other questions I may have missed. Is there any other secrets or any other Easter eggs that I may have missed? You thinking about doing any more themes or anything like that?
Yeah. We were thinking of introducing another theme this month, but I think there are way too many other requests that need to be prioritized. So at least for the next 1.5 months, we probably might not have a theme. One thing that we're thinking of is to have a contest where people can propose their themes, and then the one who wins sort of gets some reward, and maybe run it in a couple of design schools. So that will help us get a lot of themes.
Oh,
Would be a fun activity for people.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So Ramsey said, "Sorry, I joined late. Just to confirm, does that mean I can assign different users to access the system at different times? Also, is it possible to set up a payment method during the booking process?" I'm
Uh, yes. So to answer the first question, uh, so what you can do is once you assign a user, that seat is taken. Now, for you to give that seat to another person, you'll have to delete that user, and then in future you can obviously bring them back, but you cannot have parallelly multiple people uh, being used as users, right?
so
Uh,
each user, so if I understand you correctly, if you assign me a seat, Jenny Jones, right? Jenny Jones at wherever.com, no one else can use jennyjones.com besides me. So you would have to assign someone else another seat for them to be in the same system as you at the same time. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. But I think what Ramsey is asking is that, let's say you purchase the first year, right? The first year has 2 users, which
Okay.
means you can have your scheduling page and you
Mhm.
can have one more person have their scheduling page. But what they're asking is, can they have another third person log in maybe when you are not using it?
Mm.
So that is not possible, right? Because once your calendar is integrated, you have your own unique booking link. So
Okay.
you are a user who's there, right? But
That
if
makes
you get deleted, then obviously a new user can come in.
Okay, so the second question is also, is it possible to set up a payment method during the booking process? And I
Yeah.
think per event is where you assign the booking, or does a person have a choice to pay with, I think you said Razorpay, Stripe, and PayPal. Well, eventually you're going to add Razorpay and Stripe, but
Yeah.
would a person be able to select, says, I don't want to pay for PayPal, I want to use my Stripe or use my credit card? Will a person have the option to select, or you have to do them per event? That's a good question, I guess, if that's what
Yeah,
it is.
that's a good question. I haven't really thought of it. Currently, how it works is you integrate your PayPal, and when the booker is making a booking, they necessarily need to pay you if you have a paid event, and only then can they book a call. But would they have an option to use either PayPal or Stripe? That's something that we haven't really
I
thought
mean,
of.
yeah, you haven't thought that further down because you only have one payment set up now. I have a system right now. I kind of like it, right? Is where I think it's yeah, I think actually I think it's Meat Fox is when you could decide if you
Mhm.
want to accept partial payment. And I think what they'll do is because if a person cancels, right? So let's say I have a paid event, right? Hey, I
Mhm.
want to meet with Jenny Tuesday, right? And says, hey, to meet with Jenny, charges $200 an hour. So you put in your credit card and it charges you 200 bucks and then you cancel. But I've already gotten your money. And I think the way this system works is you can have a you can have a you can have a trigger that says, "Hey, accept 50% now, and then the other 50% after you meet," or that's one option. And then another one is, or don't send out the payment until the meeting has been completed. It's really
Mm.
weird, but it really protects both users, right? It protects me and protects the other person. It's like, dude, I paid you 200 bucks and I decided I'm not going to go through with the meeting or whatever. Well, I've already charged you. It's already hit my Stripe account. What a lot of people don't know about being in business, a lot of people just buy from people. They don't have their own business. Is a lot of chargebacks come through Stripe and a lot of things happen. Stripe charges you for that stuff, right? So you can't just be booking people for appointments and then they're canceling and they're like, forget it. Now you're paying for all these appointment fees that people canceled on you. That's another story. It's another conversation for another day, but that's definitely something that's going to need to be thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think PayPal kind of protects you a little bit. Stripe doesn't, right? So Stripe is like, nah, we're going and we're getting that money, right? And then if they get it, then they got to pay. Yeah. So that's something, yeah, we got to think about that. We got to figure that one out as we get out of here. I think Mark had enough two questions for Mark in one day. Really? Okay. So what analytics or reporting features does Luna account provide? A track booking performance and clients engagement? Is that something that you guys do, or is that something you guys may consider later on down the line?
We right now, I wouldn't say that we have a very good analytics setup, right? That's something that we need to build. And whenever we build it, by the way, it would be available to all the existing app Sumo users as well. What is available, Mark, is that you can still look at all the existing bookings, all the cancellations, all the reschedules. So
Hmm.
this would be visible to you, but the option to look at different cuts of data, that's something that we haven't. The analytics part of it is something that we haven't built.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see. Let me see. Really like the email feature allows you to manage your time while having the full slots available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's any other questions that I need. No, I think I pretty much answered all the questions. You guys don't have any more questions. Let's talk about the deal here really quick. I think you kind of alluded to it already. Let me share a screen as we kind of get out of here. And let's see. Um, so yeah, as we get out of here, and I'm gonna give you a single shot to kind of cover. Is there anything else we need to know about this deal? So we do know that you're gonna add a new tier, probably a tier 4 here, right? And
Yeah.
that's gonna give you 30 slots. You're still gonna get all of this.
Mhm.
Um, it doesn't say it here, but we can anticipate webhooks coming at least through all three tiers. Right now, at least for tiers 2 and tier 3 and tier 4, really uncertain on tier 1 for webhooks, right?
Yeah.
I think it's where you still got to try to financially look at that and see if that makes sense. Okay, so is there okay, so embed live calendar in any site. Um, what's your recommendation? What should a person be looking at to try to get I know what mine is, right? Because I kind of tell people, I was like, hey, listen, if you're going to make an investment in a tier three or a tier four, then you are looking at trying to recoup your investment by either extending that service to your clients or something like that. So that's how you're thinking when you get into this. I think when people stay in the tier one and tier two levels, it's more for a solopreneur and probably maybe you have a small team or something like that. Is that the thinking that went into this? Because I think a lot of people's like, oh, good, can you give me that at tier two? You're like, well, wait a minute. What are you trying to do with 7 users? This is like yeah. What is your thought? I'm gonna let you leave that because I think if you're gonna run a solo practice, just you, maybe a small team, maybe a virtual assistant or something like that. I'm thinking a tier two will
Yeah.
serve you well.
So
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
I personally think that most people will either gravitate towards tier one or tier three. The case that you talked about, right? If I'm a freelancer, I know that I don't want to run a big company.
Sure.
I'll probably just have me or maybe one more person in my team. Then it makes sense to have just licensed tier one, right? You will lose out on custom subdomain, but I'm not sure if it's that big a deal to sort of move to the next tier just because of that small thing. Because $59 is a pretty good price for that. But if you're running an agency, then I think you would immediately want to gravitate towards the largest tier. The logic being that even if with a couple of clients, you might run out of those 7 licenses. So then you have the safety of 20 licenses there.
So let me ask you this last question. Let me get you out of here. And this is kind of a loaded question. You didn't think you get a loaded question from me today, but I have a loaded question for you. My
Yeah.
question is why do people use Calendly, TidyCal, some of the other ones with their domains, but then they want you to give them a custom domain? And the only reason why I say that, and I'm not defending what your pricing is, I'm not saying that I'm siding with you. I'm just trying to understand the logic of what people are thinking, right? Because normally when a person books with you, they're not that concerned with the domain. It's just me, from my opinion. So just my thought process, and I'm sure my audience will probably beat me up or what have you. But I'm just thinking to myself, if we don't require that or don't demand that from a Calendly or you can get it from Calendly. I think you have to be on our enterprise plan or you have to be on a pretty high plan.
Mhm.
Um, why don't they demand it from them or a Tidy Cow, which everyone pretty much uses, or some of the other ones? Why? But then they want to come to you and say, "Hey, can you give me custom domain at the tier two?" What's your thought on that?
Actually, this is something that even I am not able to relate a lot because if I'm a user, right? If I were a customer of LunaCal, I personally would have been completely okay with using LunaCal.ai/Pranshu, right? Because when I'm giving a link to someone, at least this looks like a tool that I'm using rather than giving meeting.pranshu.com, which seems a little off to me. So I personally would not really think of any reason why people would want domain. But based on a lot of questions that people have asked, right? I think people want to have an ecosystem where everything is their own branded, right? Because they're using LunaCal, they might be using 4 other tools. They don't want their customers to look at different domains, which is why they want to have sort of their own domain. Uh, if Calendly would give them, then I'm sure they would want Calendly also to do that. But then, yeah, Calendly or those some of the other tools they have this limitation. So we are happy to give it at least at tier three level.
Yeah, I'm the only reason I'm asking that, right? And I think I shared this when I did my Wednesday winner. As we wrap up here, people need to understand if you start getting into supporting, let's say, 29 sub accounts or 29 accounts, you have to support that as an agency, right?
Yeah.
You have to tell people how to connect this to that and what have you. And the logic behind that is anyone that's really technical or technical savvy, or most of the people that follow me, they could have a pretty good understanding moving around. Why would they buy a calendar or sublease a calendar tool from you, right? When they could just do it on their own. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So, because you have to think that's a cost. Support is a cost. I don't think you have to, if you have an agency and you're supporting 20 clients, it's a cost associated with supporting those clients, making sure that you're able to walk them through something or something like that. I think it's short-sightedness. I think when people go there, they say, hey, I want my own domain. I want my own domain. Oh, that's fine. You can have your own domain. There's also something to be said by going with a trusted brand. Um, Whereas if you're gonna rebrand something, sometimes it's not bad to go with a subdomain in some instances, right? Because they say, oh, well, they have these tools they're providing to me from a larger company instead of Jenny rolling out of bed tomorrow and it's no longer available. I don't know. That's just talking for another that's just talking for another day. It's a fair question. Um, you're right, Jenny. Nobody bats an eye. Custom domain for count. They don't. They. I did. I just. I mean, they just don't. I think. I think. Also, I think as we wrap up, I think Shivet was like, "What are alternatives than Zapier? Perhaps some of the tools we bought from AppSumo." I. She's talking about direct integrations. Are you guys? That's a good question. I want to end on that. Is there any other direct integrations? Because I know you said webhooks would possibly be coming, but is there
Hmm.
any other direct integrations that you think that you can kind of um I know a couple of founders now. If you want to get some good direct integration connections that have open APIs, let me know. I could I could help you out on that. So had you thought about any other direct integrations that you thought of yet? Or because you again, you want to be strictly a calendar tool, but the only other direct integration you would be looking at is maybe some CRM tools that are pretty popular on AppSumo that's come to AppSumo that's done very well, a la
So
VBout, right? Or some of those other tools. But yeah.
I think integrating with CRM is a no-brainer. That's really important. We do have integrations with HubSpot, Salesforce, and Pipedrive, by the way. It's not really part of the AppSumo deal, but I've kept
Nobody nobody uses HubSpot, man. The Sumo Leans, we don't use HubSpot. We're beyond HubSpot. I just thought you should know that, right? So pass that on to the rest of your founder friends. We don't do HubSpot, right? We just
it.
don't because we have enough tools to make our own HubSpot. I just think you should know
Yeah.
that. So,
So I mean,
um,
if there are enough requests for integrating with a particular tool, we're more than happy to do it.
yeah, no, we'll talk about it. I think you do that. No, so you've been great, Pranshu. I really appreciate you coming on the show, spending some time with us. Yeah, you guys pick up the tool. Obviously, use my link to continue to use the Jenny Juice link to continue to bring you guys the juice for here. Do you have Pranshu? I'm gonna give you a single shot. I want you to make your last appeal to the people to give you guys a chance or shot here on AppSumo. Definitely at the price. I can see this tool going up in price. I really can. Go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, I don't want to say that we are going to increase the price right away because that's again something that apps more people decide. But I think we have really, really thought through while building LunaCal, right? Never really had that approach of building an MVP and then sort of improving on it. We always thought we'll build the best scheduling tool because there are already so many tools that unless you build a really, really good one, people won't really switch to you. So that's what we've thought of. If you have any feature requests, do reach out. And if you do decide to buy an AppSumo, please review us. It helps us a lot.
All right. With that being said, hey, you guys been great. I love to thank, man, my community showed up for me today. Radiance and T Nicole and Perry and even Mark stopped by. Joyful Stamping was here and Nakutha was here and Big Kez World, Johnny Kane, man, all the Adrian is here. Adrian even show Adrian only had one question. And Shivat, these are my peeps, man. They show up for me. I appreciate them. I always want to try to give them the juice, try to make sure we bring founders on. You've been great. And here's what I will say, and I'm going to put this out here so everybody knows. Pranshu has been on it. He takes my calls. He looks at all the different things that I consider. I say, hey man, if you thought about this, thought about that, he says, we'll think about it, Jenny. And so he is one of those founders. Hey, if it makes sense, and I've shared with him, listen, I don't want to buy LunaCal today, and then next week, next month, you're out of business. So he thinks about that as well. So I celebrate you, sir. I really appreciate you coming on the show and helping us make a better decision. Make sure you guys use that link, that code. Hey, you guys have been great out there. You guys take care. Goodbye for now.
Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, everyone.